Oh, hello, ladies. Welcome to Becoming Unstoppable and Unapologetic. This is a mini series where I am breaking down the laws of iconic leadership. I'm Carissa Atkins. I'm a speaker, author, founder of the Alpha Queen Collective, and a leader who is obsessed with helping women stop playing below their potential. I help coaches, entrepreneurs, CEOs, and high performing badass women break the patterns that have been keeping them stuck so that they can lead with power, build unapologetically, and become iconic in business, leadership, and life. So let me just dive right in. Okay. So let me say something that you already know to be true, but you haven't quite owned probably yet. You don't need more clarity. You need more self-trust. Because if we're honest with yourself, you probably already know what your next move is. I mean, you've probably been already thinking, I need to raise my prices. I need to stop working with misaligned clients. I need to pivot my offers or, create the more sustainable offers. I need to show up bigger stages, things like that. And you probably know that you need to stop hiding, right? You know, you've just been avoiding these decisions. You're acting like decisions require 100% certainty, and they don't. You just don't trust yourself enough to move forward without it. So instead, if I had to guess, you're probably overthinking, you're overanalyzing, you ask five different people what they would do in your situation, and then you ignore your own truth anyway, and you call it alignment. But let's be real. It's more like avoidance because if you don't decide, you don't have to fully own your power. But every time you decide to stay exactly where you're at. And guys, that is not confusion. That is consent. There, this is really honestly, this is where high level women start to sabotage themselves and they don't even know it yet, right? It's not in their strategy, it's in their leadership because leaders decide. And when you don't, here's what happens, right? When you don't decide or you don't make decisions fast enough, your income starts to stall out. You delay expansion, you drain your energy. But let's be real, right? The real cost is you become a woman who hesitates. And that identity will cap every level you try to reach. I see this with coaches all the time, right? I see them underpricing their services. I see CEOs avoiding hard conversations with their teams. I see entrepreneurs staying in offers they've already outgrown. And it's not because they don't know what to do. It's because they won't choose. There was a moment in my life where I had to make a decision that didn't feel safe. It didn't feel certain. It didn't come with a perfect plan. And I want you to hear this very, very clearly. The decision that changed my life, it was not logical. It was aligned. I was in a situation where I had spent years abandoning myself. I was looking outside of me for validation and approval, for safety and for direction. And it led me into places that honestly I should have never been. Toxic relationships, tons of chaos, survival mode always on. But there was one night where I hit a breaking point. It was not the dramatic, not the loud kind of breaking point, but I was just done. And in a moment, I realized something that changed everything for me. I realized no one was coming to save me, and that if my life was going to change, I had to choose it. That was the moment that I took my power back, and not because I felt ready, but because I was no longer willing to abandon myself. 2 weeks later, out of this toxic relationship, an opportunity came. Okay. So no certainty, no safety net, no bank account savings, right? Just a quiet opportunity, a window of possibility for me to leave that abusive, toxic relationship or for me to stay. I chose to leave. And that decision became the foundation for everything that I built since. And now I see this pattern everywhere. Brilliant women making a shit ton of money, leading amazing teams, and still are stuck at the same level because they're waiting. They're waiting to feel ready. They're waiting for clarity. They're waiting for permission. Or honestly, they have so many decisions that they're trying to make that they're just waiting for things to calm down. I remember one of my clients, she was very, very successful, but she plateaued for over a year. She was at the same income levels, same results, right? She was constantly hitting roughly $12,000 to $15,000 in her business, but could never get to 25, 30, 40, or even $50,000 a month. And you guys, it wasn't because she lacked strategy, because Lord knows I gave her all the strategies she needed. It's because she wouldn't make a simple decision. The decision to play bigger, to raise her rates. But the moment she did, everything shifted. And it wasn't a slow kind of shift, y'all. It was immediate because her identity shifted after one of our mindset magic calls. This is the law of a sovereign decisions, right? The law, universal law number one is aligned sovereign decisions, and power is built the moment a woman chooses herself, not when she feels ready, not when she feels safe, when she simply freaking decides. Iconic women don't necessarily wait for the clarity. They create it through making decisions. And not only making those decisions, they get even more clear on those decisions as they own those decisions. They create such such greatness the minute they start making decisions that are aligned for them. They're not chasing or outsourcing authority. They don't sit in the what ifs. They choose, right? They make a decision, they decide, they choose themselves, and then they rise to meet that decision. Because alignment does not come before, it comes after. Now, this is where you'll try to water this down, right? I bet you're thinking, okay, I just need to decide faster. No, this isn't necessarily about speed. This is about sovereignty. Because you can make a quick decision and still not trust yourself. You can still second guess, and you can still collapse after the decision. I mean, how many of you have ever invested in maybe a coach or a massive, commitment, and then you were so clear in the moment, but then like an hour later, you were like, maybe I shouldn't have did it. Maybe I shouldn't have did it, right? And the monkey mind started going crazy. That's because you're still not trusting yourself. That's that thing I'm talking about. Okay, in the moment it felt good, but an hour, two, or even a day later, it did not. Okay, so the real shift is becoming a woman whose decisions get locked in, where your energy backs it, where your identity holds it. And right now, that's the gap you're feeling. This is exactly why I created the Sovereign Decision resource for you. It's a free tool because understanding this enough isn't going to be enough. You need to experience it. Inside the tool, I walk you through how you can actually start making aligned decisions without overthinking, without outsourcing your power. You can access it right inside my world too by joining the Alpha Queens Rising community. It's a free space for women who are done playing small and ready to lead at their highest level. Or if you already know you're ready for deeper work, you can always, of course, book a private call with me. But either way, ladies, please don't just listen to this. Do something with it. You need to learn how to make aligned, sovereign decisions, not decisions based off of what other people think or, fear or scarcity or people pleasing. Stop making those types of decisions and start making decisions for yourself. My tool, it comes down to a 3-part process, and I would love to be able to tell you a little more about it. But again, that resource I just want to give to you, but you have to join the Alpha Queen Rising community. It's a free community. It's not a Facebook group. It is a space for you to come, get connected with other badass women, get support, get the training, get the tools, etc. You don't have to do this thing called life and business alone. Okay? You already know the decision. You felt it while probably listening to this. So the only question really is are you finally going to choose it? Or are you going to stay exactly where you are? Because ladies, iconic women, we don't wait. We decide. And that's where everything begins. Okay. So I just want to thank you so much for being here. If this episode spoke to you, don't just listen and ignore it. Apply it. You need to learn how to become an aligned decision maker. You need to learn how to make decisions based and rooted in your truth and your self-trust instead of fear and people pleasing. And if you need help with that, if you are a people pleaser, if you are not making a decision or making decisions based out of fear, we've got to work on that. I've helped so many women overcome their fear, and now they are truly standing in their power. They're making more money than they ever have. They have the best relationships in the world. They're great role models for their kids. They're spiritually aligned. They're aligned in full body health, emotional, mental, physical, spiritually, financially. They are full health mode. Okay, because they are no longer making decisions based out of fear, people pleasing, or approval. So if you enjoy this topic, right, of how to become the best version of you, make sure you subscribe to the channel, the Alpha Queen Collective channel, so that you're notified when the next episode drops. And if you're ready to go deeper, again, join us inside the Alpha Queens Rising and explore the resources. I will drop the link to our free community below. And remember though, ladies, please remember, iconic women don't wait for permission. They decide, they lead, they live their best life, and they rise the fuck up. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.